What's up guys? Coach Sean here, and today I'm going to show you how this Italian boy likes to make his meat sauce. Now this is the perfect cold weather dish to make when you're stuck inside all day and you want your home smelling great. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a spice bag. Now this is nothing more than a little bag of whole spices that makes it really easy to retrieve them at the end. Now you can buy these bags online, but I just opt to use an emptied out tea bag. So into mine, I'm gonna put a few cloves and a whole star anise pod. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grind up some dried porcini mushrooms. This is one of my secret ingredients to really give this meat sauce a real earthy and umami flavor. After that, we're gonna cut up some vegetation. So I'm gonna begin by mincing an entire head of garlic, and then I'm gonna take a few stalks of celery and I'm gonna finely chop them. Then I'm gonna finish by finely dicing 2 large onions. And these 3 ingredients are really gonna form the base of our meat sauce. Now that all our veggies are prepped, it's time to get on to the cooking. So into a large Dutch oven over low heat, I'm gonna add a few tablespoons of chicken fat. Now if you don't have this, you can use bacon fat or butter, both great substitutes. Then I'm gonna add in all of our onions, along with a pinch of salt in that spice bag. I'm gonna let this cook on low for a good hour, until we get a deep caramelized color on the outside of these onions. Once it's done, we're gonna add in our celery and our garlic, and we're gonna continue cooking for another 30 to 45 minutes. After that, I'm gonna begin searing the outside of my short rib. A good meat sauce is all about creating layers of flavor. So any opportunity I get to add an additional layer, I'm gonna take advantage of. So once I have a good sear on the outside of my short rib, I'm gonna remove them, set them aside, and then I'm gonna deglaze the bottom of this pan, because I don't wanna waste any of that goodness in the bottom. So I'm gonna add some white wine here. I like to use a real dry, woody kind of wine, something like an oaky Chardonnay. Once our bottom is deglazed, we're gonna head back to our onions and celery. So into our Dutch oven, we're gonna add our deglazed wine, a little bit more wine, a can of evaporated milk, a few cups of beef broth, and then we are gonna finish with some dried porcini mushrooms. We'll give our pot a stir, and the last thing we're gonna add in here is our seared short ribs. Make sure they're fully submerged, and once you got everything in the pot, we're gonna put a lid on it, and we're going to cook this for a good 3 hours on low heat until those short ribs are incredibly tender. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna create our tomato sauce. So into a pot, I'm gonna add a few tablespoons of olive oil along with our remaining garlic. And we're gonna cook it for a minute until it's nice and fragrant. Then we'll add in 2 cans of San Marzano tomatoes along with some good Italian seasoning. Think basil, thyme, and marjoram. We'll give it a stir, and then I'm gonna put a metal strainer on top of it. The reason I like to do this is because I want a lot of the liquid to evaporate, but I don't want it to splatter everywhere. The strainer does a great job for this. So we're gonna let it cook for a good 30 to 45 minutes. After that, we're gonna add a few more ingredients in here. So we're gonna add a bit more wine, a good heaping tablespoon of tomato paste, some ketchup, some Worcestershire sauce, and then finally some balsamic vinegar. And I'm gonna continue cooking this for another 30 minutes until that liquid has evaporated. Once our tomato sauce looks like it's just about right, I'm gonna turn the heat up to high, and I'm gonna glove my hand, and I'm gonna begin stirring. Then I'm gonna add a little bit more olive oil, and I'm gonna keep stirring it and caramelize the outside. This is the last layer of flavor that we're gonna build into that tomato sauce. Once our tomato sauce is done, I'm gonna remove it from the heat, and then I'm gonna go ahead and shred the short rib. And then I'm gonna add it right back to that Dutch oven, along with any of those accumulated juices. Then we're gonna pour in our tomato sauce, and our meat sauce is more or less done. So I elected to cook some pasta to go with my meat sauce. But I've had this with a wide variety of different carbs. I've used pasta, orzo, rice, spaghetti squash, and even some fall squashes like yellow squash and zucchini. I like to finish my meat sauce with a little bit of Parmesan cheese stirred right into it, and then I'm ready to serve it up. So I've got a good plate full of pasta in that meat sauce. I'm gonna hit it with a bit more Parmesan cheese, finish with some dried parsley, and then this meal is done. This is a recipe which is entirely worth all the time and effort that goes into it. You can really taste all of those different layers of flavor that we built through the entire recipe. It's one of those dishes I truly wish my Italian grandmother could try. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Coach Sean's Kitchen. And just remember, you can make anything homemade and healthy.